Wonder, will people say that no, Canelo was going down and he had had enough? That there might be an excuse for that. So.
I think boxing-wise, he's going to give Canelo fits. Don't believe he can hurt Canelo. Just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful.
He just needed to be left unsaid. I understand he's articulating like his point of view, like, look, this is all natural work. We're just working hard at it. We're doing X, Y, Z.
Stephen A. Smith commented on Canelo Alvarez's visibly larger frame ahead of his showdown with Terence Crawford. He pointed out that the size difference could play a major role in the fight's outcome. While Smith acknowledged Crawford as the more skilled boxer, he cautioned that if Crawford lacks the punching power to hurt Canelo, it could become a serious problem. His remarks underline the concern that Alvarez's physical advantage might heavily influence this highly anticipated matchup.
I think my initial reaction would be to say that I think that Crawford would be the superior boxer, as great as Canelo is, as seasoned as he is with 65 fights, if I recall, on his record. I think boxing-wise, he's going to give Canelo fits. Don't believe he can hurt Canelo. Just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. Again, Crawford is the superior boxer. But if he can't hurt Canelo, you can't keep him off of him. He says it's a legacy fight, and he believes he can do the same, and he wants to do the same against a fighter the caliber of Canelo Alvarez, which is why we haven't really seen him in the ring against anybody else. Fortunately, that's the business of boxing. He's a victim of it.
Eddie Reynoso, the longtime and highly regarded trainer of Canelo Alvarez, has responded to ongoing allegations surrounding performance-enhancing substances in boxing. Over the years, Reynoso has faced criticism and accusations that fighters in his gym may have used such substances, but he has repeatedly denied any involvement. According to Reynoso, athletes like Canelo are responsible for their own nutrition programs, and he does not dictate or interfere with their dietary choices. He emphasized that his role is strictly focused on training, technical development, and mental preparation. This clarification carries added weight in the lead-up to the Crawford fight, as speculation often grows when a fighter's physique or performance shows notable improvement. Reynoso maintains that his commitment remains solely to sharpening skills and building strategies, not managing supplements or nutrition.
Reynoso says, starting now, I'll be working 100% with a team that I can supervise. I've let the boxers who have come to me to train have their own nutrition team. So all of these fighters popping because of their nutrition team. Eddie Reynoso is guilty by association, so you have to clear the shit up. That's what I was saying about Victor Conte when he came with his transparency. I'm doing the same now with Eddie Reynoso. He knows he has to clean that shit up. I suggest to Eddie Reynoso, if you're going to be 100% in control of the nutrition team, join Snack. They got hyper-exfoliated, futuristic, hyperbolic chamber. Get Nello on Snack. Hey, brother, Nello on Snack with the futuristic 1.121 gigawatt, brother, please.
Although Eddie Reynoso has trained several fighters, 7 by some reports, who have failed performance-enhancing drug tests over the years, he has stressed that this should not cast suspicion on Canelo Alvarez. Reynoso has emphasized that each case must be judged individually, noting that every athlete is ultimately accountable for what they consume. When it comes to Canelo, he insists that the champion has always followed a clean regimen and has been meticulous about monitoring his food and supplement intake.
Boxing corruption at its absolute finest, but how does it connect to Eddie Reynoso and Canelo team? So Rodriguez Jr. failed his test after the Galal fight. He set the record for the most punches landed in that fight. It even prompted people like Sonny Edwards during the fight to say, this is weird. And yet, he will not be punished. In fact, he'll be kind of rewarded because he's going to get ordered an immediate rematch for the WBC belt. The only thing he's got to do is have a 12-month probation period with random testing. Now, WB are doing this because they have ruled it proven unintentional use. It just so happened he took stuff that was extremely beneficial to his conditioning. Here is the WBC official statement. Feel free to pause this and read it. But what's it got to do with these two fine gentlemen? Well, Rodriguez Jr. is part of Canelo team, and he was rumoured to be managed by Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso since came out and said, no, I don't manage him, blah, 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 and he distanced himself. Now, why that's important is because Eddie Reynoso has been connected to, I think now, 6 or 7 fighters who have all failed their drugs tests. The rumour around town, now this is just a rumour, and definitely not true, is that these two may have smoothed things over with the WBC, maybe used their position of power to get Rodriguez Jr. a bit of a lenient sentence, put it that way. Again, that's not true, I've just completely made that up. But what is unbelievable is a fighter nowadays can actually fail a drugs test and not be punished whatsoever. In fact, can be rewarded.
Terence Crawford's strength and conditioning coach has issued a bold statement ahead of the much-anticipated showdown with Canelo Alvarez. Speaking with conviction, he predicted that Crawford would beat the fight out of Canelo, stressing that the camp is fully prepared for the challenge. His remarks reflect the confidence within Team Crawford, who believe that their fighter's power, conditioning, and tireless work ethic will be enough to neutralize Canelo's size and experience. The coach explained that their preparation has been carefully designed, focusing on both strength and stamina to compete with Alvarez in every aspect. His comments have only intensified the build-up as fans continue to debate whether Crawford's power at a higher weight will be enough to trouble a seasoned champion like Canelo.
Listen, I get a lot of texts asking how I'm doing, how camp is going, so I figured I could just put it up in one post. So I'm in the mountains. This dude's about to beat the brakes off Canelo and be the greatest boxer of all time, and I get to play a part in it. All is well. Truly well. We good. I'm good. I'm real good.
Some analysts argue that the size of the ring could play a decisive role in the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford showdown. A standard-sized ring would give Crawford the space to showcase his movement, speed, and tactical footwork, allowing him to control distance and keep Canelo at arm's length. History has shown that Alvarez can be troubled by opponents who rely on lateral movement and spacing, most notably in his loss to Dimitri Bivol. Fighters who force Canelo to chase rather than trade punches often disrupt his rhythm and limit his effectiveness. If the ring dimensions favor mobility, Crawford's chances of dictating the pace and controlling exchanges rise considerably. On the other hand, if Alvarez can close the distance quickly, the contest could evolve into a far more physical and punishing battle.
Ring is standard size. I think Bud beats his ass all around the ring for 12 rounds. If Canelo want to come forward and get the whooping, that's what he gonna get. But that's the thing, in that last Skull fight, he didn't want to take the fight to Skull. So if Canelo don't come to fight, I don't want to see Crawford stand in the middle of the ring and take that type of risk. Because Crawford, he talk about retirement, but he can still go on after this. So he ain't got to take that punishment. He can run it back with him. I don't want Crawford forced into a dogfight with Canelo. No, I think he gonna whoop it.
Veteran sports broadcaster Jim Gray has shared his thoughts on the upcoming clash, describing it as a matchup between two fighters with extraordinary legacies. He applauded Canelo Alvarez for his consistent success across multiple weight divisions, while also giving full credit to Terence Crawford for his dominance within his own class. Gray's measured perspective highlights the deep respect both men have earned in the sport. He emphasized that this bout is more than just a fight for titles, it is a battle for legacy. With each fighter determined to cement his place in boxing history, the stakes could not be higher.
Want to see the best fight the best. And even though there's been a difference in weight divisions here, I think that, people clamor for big names and big fights and guys who are great to fight each other. So being for the institution, and I am for the institution of boxing, I think Canelo has been great for boxing, and I think Terence Crawford has been great for boxing. So how this is going to play out exactly, I don't know. Terence Crawford is older, and Canelo has, twice as many rounds? So, I don't know how that combination ends up. The weight difference. Canelo's going to be a bigger man and a bigger frame and coming up in that weight. So, I think it's just going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be at the Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play, and it's going to be filled up, and we're going to have a huge, huge night for boxing for the world to see.
One follow-up, do you feel like Terence Crawford has the style to cause Canelo problems?
Does he have the style to what?
Cause Canelo problems.
Terence Crawford's a great fighter. Terence Crawford can give anybody problems. Whether or not he will, I don't have that crystal ball. I don't know. We'll just have.
Renowned trainer Abel Sanchez has voiced strong doubts about Terence Crawford's chances, emphasizing the significant size difference between the two fighters. Sanchez explained that weight divisions exist for a reason, stressing that while skill is essential, natural size and strength remain decisive factors in boxing. He pointed out that Canelo's power at his natural weight class presents a major challenge for Crawford as he moves up to face him. In Sanchez's view, even with Crawford's exceptional talent, overcoming the physical disadvantages in this matchup will be a daunting task.
As everybody has opinions, and my opinion is that I think Canelo will be too big for him. I think Crawford needed a little more seasoning, a little more seasoning of his weight, that is. He's had a year and hasn't had really any fights against those caliber fighters. The last fight he had a 154-pounder, moved up one division and had a difficult time in a way that he wasn't dominating as he did in the lower divisions. And you talk about a guy in Canelo whose really only bad outing was at the Bivol fight. And Bivol, when I first talked about that fight, when they asked me, Bivol is a Gennady Golovkin, just 15 pounds heavier. Same skills, maybe not the punching power, but very skilled. So anybody below 75, Canelo is dominated easily. After the 5th or 6th round, it seems to be sparring sessions for him. So I think that he does very well, and I think he wears Crawford out and wins a going-away decision. Crawford is an all-time great, obviously, but there's weight divisions,
Definitely as well. Abel, I'll leave it there, but I'll leave you with the final words. Any final words for the fans waiting to see you in the corner on Saturday night, my friend?
I'm very happy to be back.
Legendary ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. offered his perspective on the matchup, noting that in contests of this magnitude, the naturally bigger fighter often holds the advantage. By that measure, Canelo Alvarez could have the edge. However, Lennon also pointed out that Alvarez has not appeared as dominant in some of his recent performances, which could leave an opening for Terence Crawford. His balanced assessment suggests that while size is an important factor, current form and strategic execution could ultimately decide the outcome.
We'll fight in September. How do you see that fight playing out? Who are you leaning towards? Who wins that fight?
Yeah, I tell you, I tend to always think the naturally bigger fighter is going to have an advantage. I'm just, with the Crawford moving up, he was a 135-pound champion. They had 40, fantastic champion. 47 then, and then 54 is 68 too much. That's really a big jump. But I tell you, a lot of people I respect just say, no, he's going to be favored on that.
Wow.
So I don't know what to say, but Canelo's a great fighter and a smart fighter, and two fighters in the pound for pound best, getting it on. That's nice for boxing.
And if Crawford is successful, where would you place him in the all-time greats? Does he belong in the top 10, or you've seen so many fighters come across?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to say. But certainly he should be considered. He should be in that discussion, and people could argue that either way for a while. But yeah, if he does it, you always wonder, will people say that, no, Canelo was going down and he had had enough? That there might be an excuse for that. So, we'll see, but it'd be quite a feat if he does beat Canelo. That'd be.
Shakur Stevenson, the undefeated champion known for his technical brilliance, has voiced strong confidence in Terence Crawford's abilities. Stevenson has gone as far as calling Crawford the greatest in his weight class, insisting that his exceptional skill set is enough to overcome even a naturally bigger and stronger opponent like Canelo Alvarez. His endorsement carries significant weight, given Stevenson's own proven talent and credibility in the sport. This statement not only highlights the respect Crawford commands among elite fighters, but also reinforces the argument that size alone will not determine the outcome. Many within the boxing world share this sentiment, viewing Crawford as a legitimate threat despite the physical disparity, making this matchup one of the most compelling and highly anticipated events in modern boxing.
When you first came, you heard about it. What did you think of this idea of Bud going up to 68 to fight Canelo?
I ain't gonna lie, I've been putting it out since, I want to say, when he fought Sean Porter. Like back then, if you go watch, it's an interview out there. I had said I think that Terence Crawford would beat Canelo Alvarez right after he fought Sean Porter. So the idea, I've been thinking about it. I've been saying it before Bud even was saying it.
Why were you saying it then? Like that was what, a few years ago? Was he 160 or 168 at that point? But why did you believe then that was the right fight?
Because I just knew, like, as far as in that weight class, Terence Crawford is like the greatest. So I just feel as though with Canelo's style and like the style of boxing that he got, I think and this is before Bivol did it, but I thought like Terence Crawford was the only guy who I felt as though could have beat Canelo with his style.
Mm-hmm. So tell me if you think I'm wrong here. Like, I might have been more confident after the Spence fight when he threw a lot of right hands in that fight, was aggressive. Against Madrimov, he didn't throw a lot of right hands in that fight. And I've been saying for years that the only way to beat Canelo Alvarez, throw right hands. Gennady Golovkin did it, almost beat him, should have beat him the first time around. Dmitry Bivol did it in their fight. Other guys tend to try to jab him to death. I don't think you can win fights.
I was about to say, I disagree with you.
That's not surprising.
Former world champion Sean Porter has shared detailed observations on Terence Crawford's recent physical transformation ahead of his clash with Canelo Alvarez. After seeing Crawford in person, Porter noted the fighter's legs looked especially strong, thick, and well-proportioned, evidence of targeted lower body training. He highlighted that Crawford's weight gain appeared evenly distributed, with no imbalance between his upper and lower frame, suggesting a carefully managed conditioning and nutrition plan. Porter also remarked on Crawford's movement, pointing out that despite the added muscle, his speed and agility remain intact, an impressive achievement when moving up in weight. In Porter's view, retaining quickness while gaining strength could prove to be a decisive advantage, particularly if Crawford uses mobility to neutralize Canelo's size and power. His insights add credibility to the belief that Crawford's camp has carried out a disciplined, precise strategy to deliver peak performance on fight night.
One reason you give Crawford a good chance at winning this fight is talking about Canelo has to have his feet set to deliver his power shots. Crawford making him pick his feet up. At 38 years old, putting on 14 pounds to go from 54 to 68, 38 years old, do you think his legs will be able to have the advantage that people that are picking him and thinking he could win this fight, will they have the advantage that they believe he will have at 38, putting on 14 pounds to those legs?
I looked at my business partner Malcolm while we were there. I said, "Yo, look at his legs." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." I said, "They're thick. They're in shape. They look very strong." If anybody out there that want to act funny about what I just said, that's my job as a former athlete, as an analyst. I have to analyze everything, right? So I have to analyze how's his weight now distributed across your body.
His body, right?
Is it distributed a little too much right here in the midsection? Are the legs too thick? And now I'm not seeing the muscle pop and things of that nature. The dude is doing all of the right things. They have something called the incline in Colorado Springs. So just in case you don't know, Colorado Springs is about 6,000, a little bit more than 6,000 feet in the air, right? So it's above the altitude. I don't know where Vegas is. Vegas is around 1,000.